Hello and welcome. Thank you for coming. So our topic today is kitchen use of essential oils, and we've had a series going on to speak about different uses of essential oils. And one of the conversations that we had earlier in the week was about using essential oils for breathing, to help us as we smell them, to make us want to breathe more deeply. And as we connected that to our Torah learning and Moshe Rabbeinu saying that when it was time to leave Mitzrayim, the people didn't believe him, they weren't ready to do it, they were katsar ruach. So we were speaking katsar ruach being a shortness of breath, and therefore a shortness in trust in God, a shortness of emunah. And if you breathe more deeply, you're going to be more connected. What we know about the essential oils being a tremendous gift that we have now in this generation that I seriously sometimes am just brought to tears of gratitude. Because these oils, and I'm speaking when I say these for today's conversation about the oils that we particularly use in cooking, they are antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, anticatarrhal. Some of them are against diabetes. They can lower blood pressure. This has all been studied and proven. This isn't just hearsay, oh, try this and it may make you improvements in your condition. These things are scientifically studied. The doTERRA oils in particular are used by Johns Hopkins University and I believe Duke, but they are used in scientific studies in research. So for example, we know very, very well that oregano is antibacterial and antiviral, and melaleuca we don't tend to use in cooking because it doesn't taste very good. But the oils that I have lined up here for our cooking series are clove and cinnamon, which you probably know, coriander, cilantro, marjoram, cardamom, and rosemary. And I'd like to look a few of those up and just tell you some of the benefits in the different categories of the things they do. When we read about this, I have this wonderful large copy of the Essential Oils book, and then this smaller spiral bound, and I'd like to offer all of you to take a look at it. And I have these little booklets you can take with you, little how to use essential oils and the different types of oils that you can use in your home. But here in the beginning of this book, we have the science of showing us all the molecular structure of the different oils, so we can learn how they benefit us in the body system. So I'm going to start here reading with basil. The common uses of basil are antimenorrhea, autism, bee and hornet stings, bites and stings, bronchitis, bruises, carpal tunnel, chronic fatigue, cramps, cuts, earaches, frozen shoulder, and on and on and on. Okay, I'm just going to skip to cardamom, which is good for coughs, headaches, inflammation, muscle aches, nausea, and respiratory ailments. Cassia is like a cinnamon, and I'll skip here to cinnamon, which is good against airborne bacteria, bacterial infections, bites and stings, bacteria. It helps with breathing, diabetes. Cinnamon, in fact, is known, many doctors will tell you, many perhaps on the alternative side, you'll see recommendations to chew on a cinnamon stick. Sometimes if you read the health column in some of the more popular magazines, easy home remedies, cinnamon is well known to help with diabetes. So if you can cook with a little bit of cinnamon, I like to use it in barley, or sometimes if I eat cottage cheese, I'll just take a couple of drops of cinnamon. I can just go on reading a little bit about it. Diverticulitis. Cinnamon is against fungal infections. It's a general tonic. It stimulates the immune system. It's against infections and low libido, mold. It's pancreas support, physical fatigue, pneumonia, typhoid, vaginal infection, vaginitis, and viral infections. It's good for warming the body. What? Cinnamon? Our old friend cinnamon, the spice we use on Havdalah, just plain cinnamon, really it has all those qualities. If I were to go on and on and on, and I'd like you to pick up these books at the end of the talk and come and take a look up anything you want. These books are designed in two formats. In the first half, you have anything alphabetical. So you have the arborvitae, and you have the basil, and the cardamom, and the cinnamon, and the cassia, frankincense. You have everything here alphabetical in the first part of the book. And in the second part of the book, you can look up anything by disease. Acne, ADD, diverticulitis, cancer, fatigue, anxiety, anything you want to look up as a condition, skin conditions, anything, you'll find that here. There are a few ways that we like to use the essential oils. I'm going to pull out the little diffuser, show you how simple it is to keep this going. Some of these, we're talking about using them in a cooking sense, but another technique for using the essential oils is aromatically. So you diffuse them. This is a great little diffuser because it's USB. So it's very nice to be able to carry it anywhere and use it in your car. Here's another cooking oil, which is thyme. And I'm going to just do like we do, which is put in a few drops. This is Citrus Bliss. Here, let me pass this around. And in just a couple of minutes, when I turn this on and I have a little battery pack, a little backup battery pack that I can take with me. There we go. Okay, now can you see that misting? So we tend to use and think of the essential oils being aromatic, but the purpose of this talk is to go through how we would use them in the kitchen and why it would be more beneficial than your typical dried herb. So how many of you have ever made something like a roasted potato with rosemary? Okay, so that's pretty common, that's pretty easy. So rosemary, if we look it up, you see it growing out in the gardens in many, many countries. You know rosemary is very familiar. So the rosemary properties are analgesic, antibacterial, anti-cancer, anti-catarrhal, antifungal, anti-infectious, anti-inflammatory. No, I'm not kidding. I'm going on. Antioxidant and expectorant. Expectorant means it helps you pull up a cough. So if you want to smell the rosemary oil, let me let you pass that around. And it smells like a very strong rosemary. And what we suggest, what we learn from the learning, the reading, the buildup that we want to be finding for ourselves in the essential oils, is to use them at the end of your cooking if you want all these properties. If you want to have this goodness go into your body, don't cook with it throughout the whole oven or heating process. So you will potentially heat out the potential good in the essential oils, in their healing qualities. You'll still get the smell. By the way, this has no heat going on it. This is ultrasonic. So it's actually, it comes out very cool, and there's no danger like lighting a candle. And the candle diffusers, the old-fashioned ones, heat the essential oils to a degree that you may lose some of the benefits. You still have the smell, but as far as breathing in the benefits of this, you get that through the diffused oil. So the common uses of rosemary, I read to you what are the properties of it.
What would be the difference between, in terms of like, if one of these oils helps with a headache, or what would be the difference between like taking Advil and doing this?
So the question, just to repeat it, if you didn't hear, the question is about this versus an Advil.
Or a different pill, or a shot,
Or
or
some kind of a pill. So I think we all know with the Western medical allopathic model that when we have drugs going into our body, they're chemical, they're artificial, they're synthetic, and they're having side effects. For the use that we wanted, when we just use, for example, a peppermint oil, and we have another roll-on that's called past tense, it's just for tension. You can roll it on the back of your neck and roll it on the forehead, and that will take away headache. Also straight peppermint.
The same way Advil will?
Absolutely. There are many people who will take peppermint and dab it on the sides of their heads, and it has no side effects and only benefits. The oils are known to cross the blood-brain barrier. Now, if you know anything about medicine, Western medicine, what we call allopathic medicine, there are drugs that they wish would cross the blood-brain barrier because then they'd be effective, but they don't, and the oils do. And the science that has proven that over and over and over again in animal studies and in human studies is that the oils can pass the blood-brain barrier because they're natural. God made them. These are a gift to us. A little aside, if I can digress, also because some of the oils that were burned in the Beit HaMikdash, the oils that were used in the temple times by the priests, we have a paragraph that we read every day and also after Musaf on Shabbat, and it says the 11 oils that are in the Ketoret, and cinnamon is one of them. And as we read, it's antibacterial and antiviral, and it helps with anti-cancer, so many things. And the priests knew from God's word to use these to help the people, to help the breathing, to have these going into our body. And they were fighting infection. I don't know that burnt cinnamon has such a great smell. Cassia, which is even stronger, which I also have here. If you want to come up afterward, all of these are available. Oregano, we have the different oils here. Some of the ones that I haven't mentioned here that I also personally use for cooking. I use lime in my cooking. I use lemon in my cooking. But any benefits that you're going to learn about lime or lemon or bergamot or any of them will all be intensified if you use them just at the end of your cooking. Wild orange, very simple oil. You may not have thought of this. Wild orange has the properties of anti-cancer, and there's research about it here that's listed. You can take the actual research and look it up. You can read the whole thing. Anti-cancer, antidepressant, antiseptic, antispasmodic. It's a digestive aid. Wild orange is a sedative and a tonic. Not an expensive oil, something you can buy a little bottle like this, the little size. I have the little size of wild orange, and I have the larger size of the wild orange. And you can just have that going in a diffuser. And if you think about that, or you can cook with it because it's a wonderful flavor, you can add it into your salads or something. Anti-cancer, antidepressant, antiseptic, antispasmodic, digestive aid, sedative, and tonic. Why would we not have this in our lives? Why not have this in your kitchen? Okay, because these things are beneficial to you. You may as well add cardamom. I'll take you down another path here. Cardamom, if you want to listen to this one, is antibacterial, anti-infectious, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, antispasmodic, aphrodisiac, decongestant, diuretic, expectorant. It's a stomatic and a tonic for cardamom. So why not put a little cardamom in your rice? Why not put a little cardamom on your salad? It has a great smell. It's very simple. How many of you eat Indian food? Are you familiar with Indian food, rice that's cooked Indian? So if you smell this, this may remind you of Indian food. It does for me because they cook with a lot of cardamom. Have you heard of Ayurvedic medicine? You're familiar with that term? Ayurvedic medicine comes out of India, and they really know their herbs. Americans were actually quite ignorant about herbal medicine. We're really, unfortunately, most Americans are very ignorant about the healing properties of foods. The Indian culture, from India, and they have their own food. You know, they cook a lot of lentils and rice, and they don't eat meat. But the way they flavor their foods is very specifically designed for the healing properties. They're very aware of body types, what they call dosha. There's a pitta, a vata, and a kapha type in Ayurvedic medicine. And they will specifically design foods. There are cookbooks in Ayurveda, and the cookbooks will say, for example, someone who is a pitta type, who is hot and fiery, who has a lot of energy, and should be using calming, cooling foods. Whereas we read about the cinnamon is warming. So for someone who's already very fiery, very hot, very active, don't want to be having warming foods, and coriander and marjoram and cinnamon all happen to be cooling, have cooling properties. So those can just be added to your foods. And they have the benefits, as we were reading, anti-cancer, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal. Any of these that you're going to add to your health regimen, just when you're eating anyway, will hugely benefit you. Oregano on the bottoms of the feet, if you're not feeling well, can end a virus or bacterial infection before it enters your body. Oregano is extremely, extremely strong, and no one in this room would forgive me if I asked you to taste this, and it's really, really strong, even to smell it. But together, oregano, thyme, and melaleuca, either cooked or you can put it on the bottoms of your feet. The feet are the largest pores in the body, and if you put a drop on the bottom of your feet, watch this, you don't even have to touch it. Rub your feet together, just put a drop like over by your big toe. Rub your feet together, the oils will go into your skin and they will end up in your bloodstream. And then you get the benefits. I'm going to read to you oregano, and again, I'm reading from the Modern Essentials in the larger copy, and I recommend to you, I invite you to get the smaller one. I'll have this available for sale for you or to look at after the talk. And there's also a smaller copy of this book, a little one. Let me read about oregano. The primary uses for oregano, this is alphabetical: athlete's foot, calluses, candida canker sores, carpal tunnel syndrome, Ebola virus, fungal infections, immune system stimulant, against inflammation, intestinal parasites, MRSA, muscle aches, nasal polyps, parasites, plague, pneumonia, ringworm, staph infection, vaginal candida, viral infections. It's warming to the body. It's against warts and whooping cough. It affects the immune respiratory muscles and bones. And if you look here with me, where it says additional research, this cannot be printed in the book if this is not scientific studied research. So it starts here on the bottom of the page, and all of that continues. These are all different research studies that have been done with oregano. But the essential oil of oregano is a whole different conversation than just putting a little oregano that's dried and probably irradiated and probably was not grown organically. So, you may get a little taste of oregano by taking some herb into your food, but if you want to live well, if you want to clear out any issues, if you want an antibacterial, antifungal, antiparasitic, antiseptic to the respiratory system, antiviral, and an immune stimulant, have oregano in your life, please. Buy yourself a bottle of oregano oil, and if you have kids, and I imagine a few of you out here do have kids, put it on the bottoms of their feet when they say they have a sore throat, or if that runny nose starts, because a lot of us who are used to the oils, my friends and I who use these all the time, we will put a drop of this into a tablespoon of olive oil and just, that is a way to get this into your body. Not necessarily a favored way for people who aren't, pretty strong and determined to do that. Another possibility is to take a veggie capsule and drop it into the veggie capsule. That also takes a little bit of patience and experience. But some of our other oils, like here I have frankincense and On Guard. On Guard is the protective blend. So these three together, frankincense, On Guard, and oregano, are known to be an amazing kick your cold out of your body. Get rid of your flu. You put in 6 drops of On Guard, I think 6 or 12 drops of oregano, and a few drops of frankincense, and we drop these into a little veggie capsule and go drop, 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 and then put on the cover and swallow it. And then you don't have to put it into anything, cook it into anything. And again, putting them on the bottoms of your feet. But since this particular class is about cooking with the essential oils, I'm going to stick to inviting you to put these into your salads, put these into your rice, into your broccoli, into anything you're cooking. You can look online on YouTube. I have my website, selfcareu.org, and you can look on YouTube and you can see some of my cooking videos and my discussing the doTERRA essential oils. You can find those online, YouTube, or on my site, and you can learn how to cook with them. So I'll put them in the water, although it is heating them. I get a great flavor when I'm steaming vegetables, to put the oils, rosemary or cardamom or cilantro, directly into the water. I also scramble eggs. I think I have a video online of scrambling eggs, getting them almost finished, and then putting in a few drops of the oils, because I want the antibacterial, anti-cancer, antiviral, anticatarrhal, and these other anti-parasitic, antifungal effects. I want those in my body. I want those in my body constantly. Do you want to wait until you're ill to then think, what am I going to do about it? These are pure prevention. Why not? Eat them, cook with them, use them, enjoy them, and benefit from them hugely, because we're beginning to learn. It's becoming more common. It's becoming more available to people to know this is available as a health protection. This is available to keep you well. In the active model of health prevention, it's a wellness model. It's a health and wellness model. We don't have a healthcare system in this world. We have a once you're broken down, go to a doctor who's going to give you a prescription for something or tell you need some surgery. Keep yourself well. If you're already in some state of illness, get yourself well, and all of these oils can help you. I'm going to mention for some of those of you who came in a little late, in the beginning of the book we have all the different oils from A to W alphabetically, and then in the second half of the book you can look up any disease, any condition alphabetically. If you want to throw out something, I heard somebody mention that they have a parasitic issue. So I'm going to look up here under parasites and read off to you some of the things that we are taught against parasites. So it's very simple in this section of the book. Parasites. A parasite is an organism that grows on or in another organism at the host organism's expense. A parasite cannot live independently and is fed and sheltered by the host organism without making any helpful contribution itself. Against parasites, we have oregano, thyme, fennel, and Roman chamomile. There's also a mixture that doTERRA puts out. It's called the Digestive Blend. I have it here. It's called Digest Zen. That's listed here. Lavender and Melaleuca.
What is Melaleuca from a flower also?
Melaleuca is tea tree.
Okay, because I'm allergic to chamomile and rose hips and olive oil and some things, so
You're allergic to olive oil and rosemary and chamomile?
Yeah,
You're
not
good.
rosemary though.
Not rosemary.
Not rosemary.
So were you here when I read about rosemary?
No, but
Okay, I can hand you.
I'll look in the book. I'll probably get it.
Yeah, I'm happy to hand you the book. Melaleuca is an amazing oil for so many things. I'll just read it off if I.
And you can find it with an OU or something.
It's you're asking about the kashrut?
Yes.
These are all kosher and they're all ingestible. Yeah, I'm constantly consuming them, as are most of my, I can't say most of my friends, but the group of friends that I am with who are involved in the doTERRA essential oils. We have a chat group in WhatsApp, and we're constantly asking each other questions. People send photos. My friend has a rash all over here. What should I use? And we have this WhatsApp chat group, and we ask questions to each other and help each other to learn and guide each other. So we'd be able to say if someone has an allergy to something, what might be used as a substitute, or to look it up. Melaleuca, which is also known as tea tree, in many cases, many companies will say this is not to be ingested because it's not pure grade. These are pure therapeutic grade, and they are all fully ingestible. If you buy one from CVS or from Walgreens or one of these little things that says tea tree, it's filled with synthetics. Those of you who I know out here in the group who have a very, very, very low tolerance to chemicals and synthetics can also attest to when you smell some of these ones that aren't pure, then you can have a reaction. It's possible that some of your condition or your experience with your symptoms when you say you're allergic to something, perhaps if you tried a completely natural one, you may not have that. I wouldn't want to subject you to that unless you wanted to try and you know your effects. But for example, this is a Roman chamomile, and you can look up what some of the healing effects of Roman chamomile are. The Melaleuca is known. Common primary uses: acne, allergies, aneurysm, athlete's foot, bacterial infection, boils, bronchitis, candida, canker sores, cavities, chickenpox, cleansing, cold sores, common colds, coughs, cuts, dermatitis, eczema, dry and itchy eyes, ear infection, earache, flu, fungal infections, gum disease, hepatitis, herpes simplex, hives, immune system stimulant, infected wounds, infection, inflammation, jock itch, lice, MRSA, mumps, nail infections, pink eye, rabies, ringworm, rubella, scabies, shingles, shock, sore throat, staph infection, sunburn, thrush, tonsillitis, vaginal infection, varicose, ulcer, viral infections, warts and wounds. In one oil, tea tree. Now, you may say, not possible, how can it be? Okay. Additional research. This is the scientific research. This is the real stuff. This is taking it into the lab, taking it into the human condition and seeing what it does.
And how do they make the oils? They put smell. How is it more natural?
Great question. The most of these are steam distilled, and in the book it tells you how they're distilled. Some of them, if it's like the lemon or the lime, or some of them, they may be using the skins and the rinds. Most of them are steam distilled, and you can look online and you can watch the process. They boil them and extract them, and then all of the steam that goes in high pressure raises the natural oils up, and then it drips down, and they collect the oils, and then.
Which is different than cooking, which could actually prevent the essential oils from curing.
Yes, it's done in a closed circulation container, and there's a website called sourcetoyou.com. One word. www.sourcetoyou.com, and that can explain to you exactly how the oils are extracted, even where they're bought, where they're grown, the ideal soil conditions that are needed.
So do they process them in different containers so that, let's say, olive oil, chamomile, things that I might be allergic to, will be processed in a different machine than rosemary that I'm not allergic to?
I'm not able to say 100% they do, but I think that the company making these is very, very aware of conditions like yours, and since these are designed for healing, and they have to be 100% pure and therapeutic grade. Again, you can look on their website, and you can get to their websites through my website, the selfcareu.org, and if you want to be involved in using these oils, that's certainly a question that I can ask for you. Probably even to call them today, and they're open right now, and get a pretty quick answer on that. But because each bottle is rigorously tested, and this has to be pure oregano, not oregano mixed with anything, whatever's their process for batching them and making them, they're going to have to clean meticulously, because anything in any particular bottle is really, really, really going to be 100% pure in there. In the Melaleuca, I read to you first what are the conditions that it helps. The properties are analgesic, antibacterial, antifungal, anti-infectious, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, antiparasitic, a strong antiseptic, antiviral, decongestant, digestive expectorant, immune stimulant, insecticidal, neurotonic, stimulant, and tissue regenerative. Why would any of us not want to have that in our medicine cabinet? There's a package here that doTERRA makes. It's small bottles. It's called the Family Physician's Kit. In other words, every family should have this at home. It comes with 10 basic oils. It's described here what they are and all the uses for them in your home. So peppermint for headaches is here, breathe for respiratory, the On Guard for immune strengthening, the tea tree that we just read about, frankincense, which was used in the temple times. That was one of the most famous ones. And the properties of frankincense, I welcome you to read about it. Tremendous benefits to the body, as well as many of us really like the smell. And lavender is in here. The digestive blend that I mentioned before is in here. Lemon and lavender, and then another one called Deep Blue. And Deep Blue is against pain. A number of people here have tried if they tell me, oh, you know, I hurt over here, I've put the Deep Blue on them, and a few people have actually told me that immediately they feel better. I've sold a few of those and I have a few left because they work. Why would you want to take an Advil? Why would you want to take a pain pill or use something that also may be a pain rub, but it has synthetics, it may have artificial colors in it, it has side effects because it's soaking into your body through your skin, it's going into your muscles. I personally want to be all natural.
And this just goes straight into your bloodstream.
Or in the case of the Deep Blue, it's also going into the muscles. And it's helping relieve the pain.
Is the Melaleuca in the kit?
Melaleuca is in this kit. There's also a larger version of this kit. Each of these, you can look at it, each of these is 5 milliliters. They're the small ones. There's 80 drops in the bottle. I have another one set up out in the hall, and that's 250 drops per bottle, plus it comes with the diffuser.
And what is the diffuser used for? Just like that, okay,
Like
in
that.
the air?
Oh, I can turn on the lights there. And the diffuser puts it into the air, and then when you're sleeping, if you put it by your bedside, then you're going to be naturally all night long breathing in the antibacterial and the antifungal and the anti-cancer and the stimulant, immune system stimulant, anti-inflammatory. You just breathe it in.
How about eucalyptus? Is that ever?
Eucalyptus is a great one. If you want, you can look that up. I think we want to wrap up
Okay.
because it's one, but I welcome you to meet me out in the hall.
Sure.
And
Okay, thank you.
read any of this. You can also read it now while I'm
Okay,
backing up.
that's great. I'm reading it.
Do they also have studies comparing